Just a few weeks ago, I received some fabulous news from my younger brother. His girlfriend is pregnant and expecting for the month of January. So all our family, of course, is very excited about the news, about welcoming a new baby, a new member in the family. Of course, my role as an older sibling is to actually tease him a bit when he gets over worried about what being a father is about. But what I did notice is that one question was coming back all the time. An important question: will it be a boy or a girl? And of course it's an important question, and everybody is going to ask that question, and it'll be the third question on any official form you're going to fill in after the name and the date of birth. And it might well be the first question that the mother-to-be will ask when the midwife tells her the baby is okay. I'm a Swiss pediatric surgeon, and I was lucky enough to be trained in pediatric urology here at the Birmingham Children's Hospital. And that means I'm very aware of how this seemingly easy, straightforward, binary question can become a bit more tricky and complex. So, is it a boy or is it a girl? Well, surely the first thing you can do is examine the baby and have a look. And to understand how this can become tricky, we need to travel in time back a few weeks, when the baby-to-be is in fact a 6-week-old embryo. It measures about 15 millimeters. And at that stage, you cannot tell if it's a female or male embryo. So some specialized tissue deep in the back of the baby, about at that stage, will start responding to specific signals, and that tissue, called the gonadal tissue, can either start changing to become testicular tissue, or ovarian tissue, or a mix of both, or none of the above. That same tissue can either give one gonad or the other, or a mix. Let's fast forward a few weeks. Now the baby-to-be is a fetus, 9 or 10 weeks old, and measures about 30 millimeters, has doubled in size. At this stage, this gonadal tissue has acquired the capacity to produce its own signals, and these signals through the bloodstream will affect the different parts of the body, and amongst these, the genital region. Again, at this stage, just by looking at the fetus, you can't distinguish a female from a male fetus just by looking at its fetus private parts. So, the genital region at this stage is essentially composed of a central tubercle or a bud and two sets of skin folds, the inner folds and the outer folds. And these tissues carry some receptors that are like antennas that can respond to the signals that are flowing through the bloodstream, and sometimes produced locally. Well, following these instructions, this little bud can either grow and straighten up, and the inner folds will create a tube, and that will take the appearance of a penis and a urethra, while the outer folds will create the scrotum. Or other instructions can push this little bud or tubercle to actually fold down and be partially covered by the inner folds, taking the appearance of clitoris and labia minora, while the outer folds will swell and become labia majora. So you see the wide variation of quantities and type of signals and the variety of the effects they have on these receptors and these tissues explain that we can have a wide variety of aspects of the genitals. And the near infinite possible combinations of these variations means that the aspect of these genitals don't work as a binary switch. And in fact, the final appearance of these developing structures actually tend to lie on a spectrum between what we usually recognize as being girl or boy genitals, making this very difficult, sometimes in some very rare cases, to actually be able to answer to this seemingly easy, straightforward question. But you'll be thinking, in the 21st century, there must be a test we can do. If we can't just see things, there must be a test we can do to be able to answer this. Well, we can look at the chromosomes, and we've all learned at school about chromosomes. Boys carry XY sexual chromosomes, and girls carry XX sexual chromosomes. But in essence, chromosomes carry genes, and genes, unfortunately, can travel from one chromosome to the other. So we can have a situation where crucial genes that should be lying on the Y chromosome are actually living elsewhere. We can have individuals that have different combination of sexual chromosomes, have one missing or have one or two extra. We actually have people who, if you look at their chromosomes, depending on which cell you actually choose to look into, have different combination of these sexual chromosomes. We can look into the genes then, and look into the proteins they code for. But all these genes work in very complex, subtle pathways. And even if sometimes we understand the effect of one of these genes, and it can give us some answers, we still don't understand the big picture, and in some cases just completely elude us. We can look at hormones, but the main male hormone, testosterone, can be found in some babies carrying X chromosomes to be extremely high. Or we have babies with XY chromosomes who are producing testosterone, but the tissues just don't respond to it. So, confronted with such a fantastic variety of different situations in people living in contexts, different contexts all around the world, I strongly believe that we must avoid rushing into quick and easy answers. And to come back to the baby who will be joining the family soon, my message is, they're not alone. We'll be there as a family, and we'll help and support every step of the way, whatever the choice is. We're there on the long run. And in my job, it's the message I try to convey, that we work as a team, and we're there to help and support when needed. And as one of my mentors says, there'll be ups and downs, and it can be a long journey, but we're there for the long run. So, as carers, I think it's extremely important to remember that our main objective must be to ensure that we help happy, serene children grow up into fulfilled adults. Thank you.